Liam always loved wandering through the quiet streets of his town. He liked the feeling of discovering things that others ignored: the small shops with old wooden doors, the narrow alleys that twisted like puzzles, and especially the buildings that seemed forgotten by time. One place had always caught his attention more than any other: the abandoned clock tower at the edge of town. Its tall, stone walls rose like a sentinel, and the giant clock face froze at midnight, its hands locked as if time itself had given up there. People often whispered about the tower, telling strange stories about lights that flickered at night or the soft sound of ticking even when it should have been silent. But to Liam, it was not frightening, it was inviting. One rainy evening, Liam felt a sudden urge to visit the tower. The rain fell in steady sheets, drenching the streets and making puddles that mirrored the dim city lights. He grabbed his worn coat, pulled up the hood, and made his way toward the tower. As he approached, the large iron gate creaked open with a gentle push, revealing the dark interior. Dust floated in the air, and faint streaks of moonlight slipped through cracks in the walls. The space smelled of old wood, metal, and time itself, a mixture that Liam found oddly comforting. He stepped inside, careful not to disturb the silence that seemed to watch him. The interior was filled with layers of history. Broken gears lay scattered on the floor, long chains hung from the ceiling, and old wooden beams crisscrossed above him like a giant skeleton. Liam ran his hand over the cold metal of one of the gears and imagined how the tower might have looked when it was alive: people walking past it, its clock chiming on the hour, and the town bustling with energy. He could almost hear the faint echo of voices and laughter, carried by the walls and preserved in the dust. For Liam, this was not just a place, it was a story waiting to be discovered. As he explored deeper, he noticed a faint movement near the staircase that led to the upper floors. Squinting through the dim light, he saw a figure crouched by the wall, sketching something with careful attention. Liam's curiosity grew. He stepped closer, his shoes making soft sounds on the wooden floor. "Hello," he asked gently. The figure looked up, startled, and a young girl with long, dark hair and kind eyes met his gaze. She held a pencil tightly, and her sketchpad rested on her lap. "I didn't expect anyone to be here," she said softly, her voice calm but curious. "I'm Liam," he said, smiling. "I was curious about the tower. I didn't know anyone else came here." The girl relaxed slightly and extended her hand. "I'm Mia. I come here sometimes. I like to sketch old places, it helps me think." Liam nodded, intrigued. "I like old places too. There's something about them, like they hold secrets, like stories frozen in time." Mia smiled, and for a moment, the sound of the rain outside and the silence of the tower seemed to fade. They both looked at the broken gears, the walls, and the high ceiling, feeling the history that surrounded them. Liam noticed that Mia's sketches were detailed, showing the way the metal twisted and the light fell through the cracks. He admired her focus and dedication. "Do you come here often?" Liam asked, trying to make conversation. "Sometimes," Mia replied. "Mostly when I need quiet or inspiration. The tower feels alive, in a way." Liam nodded again. He felt the same. There was something comforting about the place, something that seemed to understand him without words. They started walking slowly through the lower floors together, pointing out interesting details: the faded carvings on the beams, the rusted wheels, the old ladder that led up to the clock. They laughed softly when Liam nearly tripped over a loose plank, and Mia offered to help him steady himself. As the evening went on, Liam realized that the tower had become more than just an abandoned building. With Mia there, it felt like a secret world, a place where two people could discover each other slowly, without the distractions of the outside world. He felt a warmth in his chest he didn't expect, a sense of connection that made the cold stone walls feel less lonely. Finally, as the rain slowed and the moon climbed higher in the sky, Liam knew it was time to leave, but he also knew he would come back. The tower had captured his imagination, but Mia had captured his attention even more. As he stepped back into the wet streets, he couldn't stop thinking about her sketches, her calm voice, and the gentle way she looked at the world. For Liam, the abandoned clock tower was no longer just a mysterious place, it was the beginning of something new, something that might change his life forever. The next evening, Liam could not stop thinking about the tower. Its tall walls, the frozen clock face, and most of all, Mia's presence lingered in his mind. He felt a pull to return, as if the tower itself was calling him back. As he walked through the quiet streets, the last rays of sunlight painting the city in gold and pink, he wondered if Mia would be there again. When he reached the tower, he was relieved to see her sitting on the same dusty floor, sketchpad on her lap. She looked up and smiled as he approached. "Hi, Liam," she said, her voice soft but welcoming. "I didn't expect you so soon." "I couldn't stay away," Liam admitted, grinning. "The tower, it feels different with you here." Mia laughed lightly. "I was thinking the same. It's more interesting when you have someone to share it with." For a few minutes, they walked silently among the broken gears and old machinery. Liam watched Mia as she sketched, noticing the way her hand moved gracefully across the paper. The tower seemed to feel alive around them, the beams creaking softly, the shadows stretching and twisting with the moonlight, and the faint smell of old wood and metal filling the air. It was as if the tower itself approved of their companionship. "Do you like exploring old buildings often?" Liam asked, curiosity in his tone. "Sometimes," Mia replied, her eyes not leaving her sketch. "I like places that have history, places that seem forgotten. There's something magical about imagining the stories they hold. And I like drawing what I feel when I see them." Liam nodded thoughtfully. "I feel the same way. I like discovering things people overlook. And sometimes, I think I like discovering people too." He looked at her, a faint blush rising on his cheeks. Mia paused, looking up from her sketch. "I think I understand what you mean," she said softly. "Some people, they just leave an impression on you, even if you just meet them once." They continued exploring, moving toward the staircase that led higher in the tower. The steps were old and creaked under their weight, but Liam found a strange joy in climbing them, knowing Mia was beside him. When they reached the top floor, the view of the city below took their breath away. Lights twinkled like tiny stars, and the streets stretched out endlessly, quiet in the evening calm. "It's beautiful up here," Mia whispered, her eyes wide as she looked at the city. "Yes," Liam agreed. "But it's even better because you're here." Mia looked at him, surprised by the sincerity in his voice. She felt a warmth in her chest, a quiet happiness she couldn't explain. For a moment, the rain outside, the old broken gears, and even the frozen clock seemed unimportant. The tower had become their world, a place where time felt slower, and feelings could grow freely. Liam noticed a small, rusted gear lying on the floor. "I wonder what this used to do," he said, picking it up and examining it. "I think the tower must have been amazing when it worked perfectly." "I like imagining it that way," Mia said. "All the people who passed by, the clock striking each hour, it must have been full of life." They spent the next hour talking about their dreams and stories. Liam told Mia about his fascination with machines and how he always wanted to fix old things, to make them useful again. Mia shared her love for art and music, how drawing and sketching gave her a way to express what words could not. They laughed when Liam tried to imitate the sounds of the tower's imagined ticking, and Mia playfully corrected him, saying he sounded more like a drum than a clock. As the night grew darker, Liam realized how easy it was to talk to Mia. With her, there were no pretenses, no awkward pauses, just conversation that flowed like the gentle rain outside. And while they spoke, a subtle feeling grew between them, a gentle warmth that neither could ignore. It was the start of something neither had planned, yet both felt drawn toward. Finally, Liam stood near the window, looking out at the city. "I should go," he said reluctantly. "But I hope we can meet here again soon." Mia smiled, holding her sketchpad close. "I'll be here," she said simply. "The tower is waiting, and so am I." As Liam walked away, he felt a strange excitement mixed with calm. The abandoned clock tower, with its silent gears and frozen time, had become more than a building. It had become a place of connection, a place where two people could discover each other. And as the wind whispered through the cracks of the old walls, it seemed to carry a quiet promise, that this was only the beginning. Over the next few days, Liam could hardly focus on anything except the tower and Mia. He thought about her sketches, her quiet smile, and the gentle way she spoke about the world. By the time evening arrived, he was eager to return. The rain had stopped, and the air smelled fresh and earthy, like the town had been washed clean. The streets were quiet, and the city's lights reflected on the wet pavement, guiding Liam to the tower like a path of small stars. When he arrived, Mia was already there, sitting on the floor with her sketchpad open. She looked up and waved as he entered, her smile lighting up the dim room. Liam felt a flutter of excitement. "I brought some old tools," he said, holding up a small bag. "I thought we could try fixing some of the gears today." Mia's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Really? That sounds fun. I've always wondered how the tower worked. Maybe we can make it move again, even just a little." They began exploring the lower floors, examining the scattered gears and rusted chains. Liam showed Mia how the gears might have connected, how one movement could set the others in motion. Mia listened closely, asking questions and offering suggestions. She sometimes touched the gears lightly, imagining how they would sound if they worked. Liam noticed her fascination, and it made him even more determined to bring some life back to the tower. After a while, they found a small platform near a broken staircase. Liam placed a few gears carefully on the ground and began explaining how they might fit together. Mia knelt beside him, tracing the shapes with her fingers and nodding thoughtfully. "I think this one goes here," she said, pointing to a worn gear that had been half buried in dust. "Exactly," Liam said, impressed. "You have a good eye. It's amazing how fast you understand these things." As they worked, they talked about their pasts and dreams. Liam shared stories of the machines he had repaired in his childhood, of clocks, bicycles, and even an old music box that he had restored for his grandmother. Mia shared memories of her art classes, the little drawings she made when she was bored, and the songs she liked to hum while sketching. The tower seemed to listen to their stories, its silent walls echoing with the warmth of their voices. At one point, Liam paused and looked at Mia. She was focused on a sketch she had started, her pencil moving quickly across the paper. He admired her concentration and the way her hair fell softly around her face. "You really bring this place to life," he said quietly. "Not just the tower, but everything here feels brighter with you. Mia looked up, her eyes meeting his. For a moment, there was silence, filled only by the distant sound of the wind through the cracks. I feel the same, she admitted softly. It's strange, but I think I've always wanted someone to share this place with. And now, you're here. Liam smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest. He felt a connection with Mia that went beyond friendship, a quiet understanding that seemed to grow stronger with every word, every glance, every shared laugh. The tower was no longer just a building to explore, it was a place where their bond could grow naturally, like a small plant breaking through stone. They spent hours experimenting with the gears, laughing when they didn't fit and celebrating when something clicked into place. Liam noticed how careful Mia was, how she treated each piece as if it were precious. He admired her patience and creativity, realizing that her presence made even the simplest task feel magical. As the night grew darker, the moonlight poured through the broken windows, casting long shadows across the floor. Liam and Mia climbed the staircase to the top of the tower, carrying a few gears that seemed slightly less broken than the others. From the top, they could see the whole town, lights twinkling like tiny stars. The quiet of the city below contrasted with the excitement and energy that filled the tower. "Look at the view," Mia whispered, leaning against the railing. "It feels like we're the only ones in the world up here." Liam stood beside her, feeling the same sense of wonder. "It's beautiful," he said softly. "But it's even more beautiful with you here." Mia smiled, a soft blush coloring her cheeks. She didn't reply with words, but the look in her eyes spoke volumes. In that quiet moment, surrounded by the broken gears, the moonlight, and the city lights below, Liam realized that their connection had grown deeper than he had expected. The tower had brought them together, but their friendship and perhaps something more was blossoming on its own. As they left the top of the tower and descended to the lower floors, Liam felt a new excitement in his heart. The abandoned clock tower was no longer just a place of mystery and history, it had become a space of discovery, creativity, and connection. And with Mia by his side, he knew that every visit would bring new stories, laughter, and perhaps, the beginning of something unforgettable. The following weekend, Liam and Mia planned to meet at the tower again. The sun was low in the sky, casting long golden rays through the clouds, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the trees around the abandoned building. Liam arrived first, carrying a small toolbox he had found in his father's old workshop. The tools were dusty but still usable, and he hoped they might help him and Mia restore a few of the tower's broken gears. When Mia arrived, she was holding her sketchpad and a small satchel of pencils. Her hair shimmered in the sunlight, and she looked as if she belonged perfectly in the quiet, forgotten world of the tower. "Hi, Liam," she called, her voice bright. "I brought some new ideas for sketches too. Maybe we can combine them with your tools and fix something today." "I like that idea," Liam replied with a grin. "Let's see what we can do." They explored the lower floors first, picking up loose gears and pieces of broken machinery. Liam showed Mia how to clean the rust and fit the gears together without forcing them. Mia watched closely, sometimes helping, sometimes sketching the gears as she imagined how they might move once repaired. They worked together easily, laughing when something fell or didn't fit, and celebrating quietly when a small gear clicked into place. As the afternoon sunlight streamed through the cracks in the walls, they climbed the staircase to the top floor. The stairs creaked under their weight, but it was part of the tower's charm. From the top, the city spread out before them, bathed in golden light. The wind carried the faint scent of flowers from a nearby garden, mixing with the smell of old wood and metal inside the tower. "This view is amazing," Mia said softly, leaning against the railing. I love seeing the city from up here. It feels like we're above everything, like the world is quiet just for us. Liam nodded, feeling the same calm. It's like we have our own little world here, he said. Somewhere no one can bother us. They spent a few minutes in silence, watching the clouds drift slowly across the sky. Liam noticed how the sunlight fell on Mia's face, highlighting her gentle features. For a moment, he forgot about gears, tools, and sketches. All he could see was her smile and the way her eyes seemed to reflect the sunlight. Liam, Mia said after a while, I like coming here with you. I feel happy when we're together. Like this place has more life with you here. Liam's heart warmed at her words. He had felt the same, but hearing her say it out loud made it feel real. I feel the same, Mia, he admitted quietly. It's not just the tower, it's everything. Talking with you, working together, it makes me feel like I belong somewhere. Mia's eyes met his, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. The tower seemed to hold its breath with them, the gears and shadows standing still as if listening. Liam reached out and gently touched Mia's hand. She didn't pull away. Instead, she smiled softly, letting him feel the quiet connection between them. After a while, they returned to the floor below and tried fixing an old clock mechanism that Liam had discovered earlier. Working together felt natural. Liam guided the gears into place, and Mia adjusted them carefully with her hands. Every small success was met with laughter and smiles, making the tower feel alive in a way it hadn't for decades. As the sunlight faded and the evening shadows grew longer, Liam and Mia sat together on the floor near a window. The city lights began to twinkle below, and the first stars appeared in the sky. Liam noticed how comfortable he felt sitting beside her, the way her presence calmed him even when he was nervous. You know, Mia said thoughtfully, I think the tower is teaching us something. Not just about gears or time, but about patience, care, and maybe even friendship. Liam nodded, feeling a deeper meaning in her words. I think so too. And maybe it's teaching us about more than friendship, he said softly, letting his gaze linger on hers. Mia blushed slightly, looking down at her sketchpad. Maybe, she whispered, a small smile on her lips. As the night approached, they packed up their tools and sketches, knowing it was time to leave. But neither of them felt a sense of ending. Instead, the tower felt like a place of beginnings, a place where connection and understanding could grow naturally, quietly, like the turning of gears in a clock. Walking out into the cool night air, Liam glanced back at the tower. The golden light had faded, but the memory of the day, the laughter, and the quiet moments with Mia made the building feel warmer than ever. He knew that their visits were becoming more than just adventures, they were the start of something meaningful, something that neither of them had expected but both secretly hoped for. And as they parted ways, each carrying a piece of the day in their hearts, Liam and Mia both knew that the tower would always bring them back together, guiding them gently toward the connection that was quietly growing between them. A week had passed since Liam and Mia last met at the tower, and the anticipation of returning made Liam's heart beat faster. That evening, clouds gathered in the sky, hinting at a coming storm. The wind whispered through the streets as he walked toward the tower, the rhythmic sound of his footsteps mixing with the distant rumble of thunder. He hoped Mia would be there, as he had planned to surprise her with a small discovery he had made while exploring the lower floors last time. As Liam reached the entrance, he found Mia already inside, sketching near the broken staircase. The soft light from the cloudy sky filtered through the cracks, casting an ethereal glow over the room. She looked up and smiled, and Liam felt a warmth spread through his chest. "Hi, Liam. You're early," she said, closing her sketchpad carefully. "I couldn't wait," Liam admitted. "I found something I think you'll like." Curiosity lit up Mia's face. "What is it?" Liam reached into his bag and pulled out a small, old music box he had found in a dusty corner of the tower. It was tarnished and missing a few pieces, but he believed that with some care, it could work again. Mia's eyes widened. "Oh, that's beautiful. I've always loved music boxes. Can we try to fix it together?" "Of course," Liam said, setting it down carefully. They knelt together on the floor, examining the intricate gears and tiny components. Liam explained how the mechanism worked, showing Mia the delicate balance of each piece. Mia listened intently, her hands hovering over the music box as if afraid to touch it too soon. "It's amazing how everything fits together so perfectly," she whispered. "It's like the tower," Liam said softly. "Each piece has a purpose, and when it all comes together, something magical happens." Mia looked up, catching his gaze, and felt a quiet thrill in her chest. She nodded, understanding the deeper meaning behind his words, though neither of them said it aloud. Together, they worked on the music box, carefully cleaning the gears and aligning the small components. When a tiny note finally played, they both laughed in delight. It was soft and fragile, but somehow it filled the entire tower with a sense of life. The storm began outside, and rain tapped against the windows, creating a gentle rhythm that matched the music. Liam and Mia huddled closer to each other, their shoulders brushing as they watched the small music box spin. The tower seemed to embrace them in its quiet, abandoned walls, holding them safe from the storm raging outside. "I like moments like this," Mia said softly. "It's peaceful, like the world doesn't exist outside these walls." Liam glanced at her, noticing the soft light reflecting in her eyes. "I feel the same. Being here with you, it makes everything else fade away." For a moment, they stayed in silence, listening to the rain, the music box, and the quiet creaks of the old building. Liam felt a sudden surge of courage. He turned slightly toward Mia and reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Instead, her fingers intertwined with his, warm and gentle, and a quiet understanding passed between them. "I'm glad you're here," Liam whispered. "Me too," Mia replied, her voice soft but certain. "I feel safe here. And happy." They stayed like that for a while, hand in hand, listening to the storm outside and the soft music inside. Liam realized that the tower had given them more than a place to explore. It had given them a space to connect, to share, and to understand each other in ways that words alone could not express. As the rain slowed and the first moonlight peeked through the clouds, Liam and Mia began to pack their tools and sketches. The music box sat between them, a small symbol of their teamwork and shared moments. "I hope we can come back soon," Liam said, squeezing her hand gently. Mia smiled, her eyes shining. "We will. The tower, it's ours now, isn't it?" "Yes," Liam agreed softly, a quiet happiness filling his heart. "It's ours." When they finally left the tower, the air was fresh and calm, washed clean by the storm. Liam glanced back at the tall, silent walls, now glowing faintly in the moonlight. The abandoned clock tower had once been forgotten, but for Liam and Mia, it had become a place of discovery, laughter, music, and quiet connection. Each visit strengthened their bond, and both of them knew that this was only the beginning of something truly special. As they walked home together, Liam felt a new sense of hope. The tower had taught him about patience, care, and the beauty of small moments. Most importantly, it had brought him closer to Mia, someone who made the world feel brighter, safer, and full of quiet magic. And deep down, he knew that no matter what happened, the clock tower would always be their secret haven, where desire, friendship, and the first hints of love could grow freely. A few days later, Liam and Mia returned to the tower as the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the clouds in shades of orange and pink. The tower looked different in the evening light, softer somehow, as if it had been waiting for this moment. Liam carried a small lantern, its gentle glow casting warm circles on the dusty floor. Mia held her sketchpad, already imagining the way the light would fall on the old gears and broken windows. "Hi, Liam," Mia said, her voice bright but calm. "I've been thinking about the sketches we'll do today." "I've been thinking about something too," Liam replied, feeling a quiet nervousness in his chest. "Something I want to share with you." Mia tilted her head, curious but patient. "What is it?" They moved through the lower floors, as they often did, exploring corners of the tower they hadn't noticed before. Liam showed her an old, rusted wheel that had once been part of the clock's mechanism. "Look at this," he said. "I think with some work, it might turn again." Mia knelt beside him, brushing away dust. "It's amazing to see how it all fits together," she said softly. "And I like seeing it with you. It makes it feel alive." Liam's heart swelled at her words. He had felt a strong connection for weeks, but until now, he hadn't spoken about it. The tower had given them laughter, music, and shared moments of quiet peace, but it was time to share what was in his heart. "Mia," he began, his voice gentle, "I've been thinking. I care about you. More than just as a friend. Being here with you, it makes everything brighter. The tower, the gears, even the music, none of it feels complete without you." Mia's eyes widened slightly. She looked down at her hands for a moment, then back at him. "Liam. I feel the same," she admitted softly. "I've felt it for a while, but I wasn't sure if I should say it. Being with you here, it makes me happy. Really happy." For a moment, the two of them just looked at each other, the quiet of the tower wrapping around them like a warm blanket. The gears, the dust, the broken windows all seemed to fade away, leaving only the connection between them. Liam reached out slowly, brushing a strand of hair from Mia's face. She didn't pull back. Instead, she leaned just slightly closer, and their eyes held a silent understanding. "I've wanted to tell you for so long," Liam said quietly, "but I wasn't sure how." Mia smiled softly. "Sometimes, the best words are the ones we don't speak at first," she said. They spent the next hour exploring the top floor together, hand in hand. The city below twinkled with lights as evening turned to night, and the tower felt like a world apart, untouched and safe. Liam and Mia laughed softly as they tried to align some old gears that had been stubbornly stuck, their hands brushing and sending small thrills of excitement through both of them. At one point, Liam stopped and looked at Mia. "You know," he said, "the tower has been amazing. But you're the reason it feels magical. You make everything better, brighter, alive." Mia's cheeks flushed with warmth. "And you make it feel like a place we can belong to," she replied. "Like it was waiting for us all along." They sat together near a window, looking at the city lights below. The gentle breeze slipped through the cracks, carrying the faint scent of flowers from the streets outside. For a while, they didn't speak, just held hands and watched the world. The clock tower, once abandoned and silent, now held laughter, warmth, and the promise of something new. "I'm glad we found each other," Liam whispered. "Me too," Mia said softly, squeezing his hand. I think this is only the beginning." As the night deepened, they packed up their sketches and tools, neither wanting to leave, but both feeling content. The tower had given them more than a place to explore. It had given them trust, understanding, and the courage to share their hearts. Walking home together under the moonlit sky, Liam felt lighter than he had in weeks. The connection between him and Mia was no longer just quiet moments or shared laughter. It was real, open, and promising. And he knew that the abandoned clock tower would always remain their secret haven, a place where gears could turn, music could play, and hearts could grow closer with each passing visit. The next weekend, Liam and Mia returned to the tower, carrying more tools, sketches, and small boxes of supplies they had collected for their project. The morning sun filtered through the clouds, casting a gentle glow on the old stones and broken windows. The tower seemed different today, less abandoned, more alive, as if it knew they were coming to restore it not only with gears and wood, but with laughter, care, and shared memories. "Good morning, Liam," Mia said brightly as she stepped inside, her satchel swinging gently at her side. "I brought some extra pencils and brushes. Maybe we can start working on the upper gears today." "Good morning, Mia," Liam replied, smiling. "I also brought some small oils and cleaning cloths. If we're careful, maybe we can make the old gears move again." They spent the first hour exploring the lower floors, tidying dust, and moving the larger pieces of broken machinery. Liam showed Mia how to oil the joints carefully, making sure the gears could spin without sticking. Mia followed his instructions closely, her fingers nimble and gentle. Together, they cleaned, polished, and fitted the old parts into place, celebrating quietly every time a piece clicked or turned smoothly. "This feels so good," Mia said after a while, leaning against the wall to stretch. "It's like we're bringing the tower back to life." "Yes," Liam said, smiling at her. "And not just the tower, it feels like we're making our own little world here." After lunch, they climbed to the top of the tower. Liam carried a few larger gears, while Mia balanced her sketchpad and pencils. From the top, the view of the city below was breathtaking. The streets looked calm, the sunlight reflecting off the rooftops, and the faint breeze carried the soft scent of flowers from nearby gardens. "I love it up here," Mia said softly, looking around. "It feels like a secret place, just for us." "And it's ours," Liam replied, his voice warm. "A place where we can create, laugh, and just be together." As they worked on the upper gears, the clock mechanism slowly began to show signs of life. A few small ticks echoed through the tower, sending a thrill through both of them. Liam laughed quietly. "It's moving. Just a little, but it's moving." Mia clapped her hands softly. "It's amazing. Look at it go. All our work, it really matters." They spent the afternoon adjusting, fixing, and aligning, their hands brushing often as they worked closely together. With each gear that moved smoothly, their excitement grew, and the tower seemed to hum with quiet approval. Liam noticed how comfortable he felt next to Mia, how natural it was to share these small, meaningful moments with her. And Mia, in turn, felt a gentle happiness she had never felt before, knowing that Liam was by her side. As evening approached, they stepped back to admire their work. The once abandoned clock tower now had a rhythm again. Though it was not perfect, it was alive in its own way, reflecting their efforts, patience, and teamwork. "Look at it," Liam whispered, his voice full of awe. "We did this, together." Mia smiled, resting her head lightly on his shoulder. Together, she agreed. For a few minutes, they stood silently, watching the city below, listening to the faint ticks of the clock, and feeling the soft breeze. The tower, the gears, the light, and the shadows all seemed to celebrate with them. It had become more than a building, it was a symbol of what they had created together: friendship, care, and the beginning of love. Liam turned to Mia, taking her hand in his. "I'm really glad I met you," he said softly. "This tower, these gears, they brought us together. And I think it's the start of something wonderful." Mia looked into his eyes, warmth and trust shining in her gaze. "I feel the same, Liam," she said. "I think we've built more than just a tower. We've built something special between us. Something that will last, no matter what." As the sun finally set, casting the tower in soft, golden light, Liam and Mia sat together at the top, hand in hand. The city below twinkled like a sea of tiny stars, and the quiet ticking of the clock reminded them that time had returned to the tower, just as their bond had grown stronger with every visit. The abandoned clock tower had once been forgotten, silent, and lifeless. Now, it stood as a testament to patience, teamwork, and the beauty of human connection. And at the heart of it all were Liam and Mia, who had discovered that even in places left behind, life, joy, and love could bloom if given care, attention, and a willingness to embrace each other's hearts. As they finally left the tower that night, the stars above reflected their happiness. Liam and Mia knew that this was only the beginning of many adventures together, and that no matter where life took them, the clock tower would always be their secret haven, a place where desire, trust, and love had quietly, beautifully grown.